There you go, recording. How are you, Shaun?
Yep. I'm doing well. I'm doing well. How are you?
Yeah, good. Thanks very much for asking. And thank you very much for
Sweet.
taking time out of your day to obviously do this and have a chin wag.
No, no, happy to do it.
Excellent work. All right. Well, look, let's get right into it. So, you've got
Yeah,
a new album coming out in a couple of weeks on October 27th.
that's
Uh,
right.
you've also got some dates in North America that you'll be doing before the end of the year. You're also coming over to Australia for the Good Things Festival. You'll be doing three shows
Yeah.
here as well, at least three shows, possibly more. Who knows? Probably you. But the question I'll start off with is: it's been a long time between drinks. It's 7 years since your last album. Okay, um, why?
When we were working on the Tidal Wave record, we knew we wanted to tour on that record pretty extensively. And then we knew that was going to lead into the 20-year anniversary of the band. So we kind of had the plan set that there was going to be a good amount of time. We felt really positively about Tidal Wave and the response we got to it. So we wanted to make sure we had the time to tour the globe on it. And then going into the 20-year anniversary of the band, we knew we wanted to celebrate it because we thought it was a special moment. So we knew that was going to take up all of 2019, and we were also buying ourselves some time for 2020 to get to work on a record. However, the world had other plans for us, and we didn't see each other for about a year and a half. So we were working on ideas separately and things like that. But then once the world started going again, we had to get back to touring. We had to get back to work, and while we were on tour, we were working on the record. So we had to do it in kind of like a start stop process in between tours. On tour, we were working. We kind of figured out that process, which was really cool. We had never really done that before. Days off on tour, we'd go to a studio. We went to our friend Jay's studio in Buffalo. We went to our friends, the band The Main has a great studio in Arizona. So we just started like, hey, we gotta keep the ball rolling. So we went into a pretty prolific period. And then it was just getting the album perfect and making sure our producer Tushar had the time. And then it had to be recorded in between tours as well. So there's a lot of start stop, and then we needed to find our new label. And Fantasy has been amazing with us, and so it was just all of those things that I think we really needed. We ordinarily after 2019 we wouldn't have taken such a long break. We knew we needed some rest and relaxation. We didn't think it was going to be the year and a half that was sprung upon us, but we think it was for the best because we got to really focus on these songs and write and refine and write and refine and write and refine and make what we think is a really potent album of no filler. So I think it's going to be worth the wait. I didn't want it to be this long. No one in the band wanted it to be this long, but I think it's going to be a good thing ultimately.
Yeah. So I mean, on the album, there's two vibes I get from the music, and correct me if I'm wrong. Um,
Sure.
the first vibe that I get from it is uh, it stirs up emotions and nostalgia for me, and I don't mean in the sense of because you guys have been around for 20 years, but in the sense of what the
Sure.
lyrical content seems to be. It takes me to places where there you go, that happened to me 10 years ago or whatever, or oh, that reminds me of this particular situation. And at the same time, the sound of it is like you could be on a dance floor. Like I'm imagining the nightclubs and everyone's just dancing around to it. So was that part of the refinement process that you were focusing on, or did it just come together organically?
It was just a really natural process, and like we're all kind of fans of pop music, and I think it finally had the time to work its way as into our sound. As you know, I feel like it takes a certain amount of time for any sort of influence to work its way into your music. So I don't know exactly how that happened. Tushar Apti, our producer, was a huge part of that. The sonic textures that he added to these mixes. He added so much to the arrangement and the writing of the songs and everything. But sonically, he had what he does. We thought was so cool, and what he added. And so it's like the songwriting of Taking Back Sunday that you've grown to know over all of these years, and it's the same four guys, who brought you tell all your friends. But now we've kind of grown and matured, so we've refined our craft, and then we've added this element of newness from Tushar. So it was just something we wanted to embrace right from the beginning. When we met Tushar, he was engineering the song we did with Steve Aoki called "Just Us Two," and we didn't know him before we got in there. We didn't know what he had done. But when he started putting that song together as we were working on it, we said, this guy's amazing. And I think he'd be an amazing fit for our rock sound. And he can bring us, he can kind of update us and make us something exciting, something that you're not really expecting to hear, but you're going to have the same Taking Back Sunday songwriting. So I think it was a really great marriage.
Yeah. So I mean, obviously, one big change that has happened since Tidal Wave in this particular album, of course, is Eddie left. So I mean,
Yeah.
how does so with the rest of you four guys, how did that impact you in terms of recording and writing this album, and therefore also just getting on with the band and life anyway?
Yeah, I mean, it was not an easy thing. It's something that, I don't think anybody really wanted, but it happened. And and we've all worked together so long that we knew how to do that process, and we know how to work together. So I think we always, it didn't really change too much about the dynamic. It's the same guys in the room working out songs, fleshing out ideas, bouncing ideas off each other, and we've always been so hell bent on becoming better musicians, better songwriters. So I think we've taken a whole lot of time to refine our craft individually. So when we came back together after all that time apart, we were a pretty well-oiled machine by the time we finally got to work on this record. So I feel really really good about how we were working together in the studio.
How does how do you then put them parts together? I mean, with a lot of bands, as an example, the vocalist will be the main lyricist, and somebody like yourself or the guitarist will come in with an idea, and you'll put melodies together. Do you guys come in individually with ideas, or do you all, when you were touring there, when you go in the studio, would you thrash something out in that one day you had in the studio?
Yeah, like usually someone will spark an idea, and the level at which they will have the song fleshed out varies. Like especially just coming from my perspective, I had songs where I knew where I kind of wanted the drum ideas to go to and what the guitars were doing and what the bass was doing. And maybe I add some piano over and stuff. So there were things like that that I thought I had way more fleshed out. And then there were other things where it would just be guitar chords. And like, okay, guys, what do you think about this? Is this making anything happen? Like, is this presenting itself? Is this inspiring any lyrics? Is this inspiring any melodies? So sometimes it would work well either way. Um, Mark, our drummer, people, not enough people know that he's constantly plugging away at his phone in GarageBand and coming up with like amazing beats, amazing songs, like really fleshed out ideas. And it's not just beats, it's not just drums. There's keys, there's all sorts of crazy sounds. He takes samples from everything, and he's putting together these crazy masterpieces, the bulk of which you'll hear on the album, and so he's always doing that, and and we kind of just pick the ideas that are most inspiring. And John always has songs going. There was one song that didn't make the cut of the record, but like Adam had a fully fleshed out idea with bass and guitar and drums and vocals and everything. That was just amazing, and we just didn't have enough time to work on it. So everyone had varying degrees of finished products that we brought together, and it was just what's happening in the moment, what's exciting right now, and let's embrace that idea and go. And if we kind of run into a wall, we'll go on to the next one because there's 8 million great ideas to pull from.
Yeah, well, it would happen to be that, yeah, creative. I mean, I've listened
Yeah,
to the album a few times, and taken away from the singles, because the singles everyone's going to know the singles, but the tracks that stood out to me were "I'm the Only One Who Knows You," "Lightbringer," and "New Music Friday." They were the first three that
yeah,
jumped off the page,
awesome.
because there was, I think you mentioned there, and I mean, look, I don't know who particularly wrote them songs, but each one of them, I think there was a moment there that might be about what you mentioned Mark did, where there was something just different. There was, the song was going, it was quite good, and then all of a sudden, boom, have this. It might have been a dynamic chord change, or there was, I think New Music Friday might be the one that's got a piano in it from memory. So
Mhm.
like these,
Yeah.
so I mean, they were the standout ones. When you go and play live, will you just be playing the singles, or will you be playing these album tracks as well? because I think they need to be played.
And I think the goal in what we're doing here in the States is we're doing full album plays of the whole record in New York and Nashville and Los Angeles. So we want to make sure we have any of these songs ready to go on any given night. We feel so passionately about all those songs. Like we definitely feel like any of those songs could be singles. And it's just like, what does the label think? Like we're excited about all of them. So if the label is going one way, then when the record comes out, like what are people responding to? We're going to kind of take cues from that too with what future singles will be. But man, to me, like every song on the record could be a single. So it's really cool to hear that you're identifying with those because I'm like, yeah, that one. Oh yeah, wait, that one.
Yeah.
Lightbringer was a very early favorite of mine too. I thought that could have been a lead single for sure.
Yeah.
Like that one really connected with me. I loved what Adam did with the lyrics on that one. Like that was something that just touched me immediately. And so yeah, thank you for saying that. And yeah, so the ultimate goal is to have all of these songs good to go because we want to keep it fresh and we want to keep people excited and not keep them on their toes so they don't know exactly what's coming next from us.
Which does bring us then to the singles. So there's been 3 released so far. The One Sold Amphetamine Smiles. Watching the videos, it's like a day in the life of the band. That was
Yeah.
yeah. Obviously, it wasn't filmed in one day, I'm guessing, but it's like a day in the life of the band. Is that a concept that you've actually set out with, and is there going to be more videos that will follow on that theme?
Yeah. I don't want to let on to anything, but yeah, we definitely had a plan going in, which is something we've never really taken the time for before. We also brought in our friend DJ Bronner, and he's our creative director for this entire cycle. And he shot the cover photo. He put together the layout for the album. He's shot all the videos. He's directed all the videos. So like we bounce around ideas and concepts, and how can we tie this together? How can we make this merge? How can we make this like one complete story? So we're always bouncing ideas off with him and like what can work logistically with all of our schedules and stuff like that. So it's something we've certainly planned out and we just thought it was fun. And like we were talking about before, like how I said any song could be a single. I'd like to have content for every single song on this record, whether or not budgets and time will allow for that, or even interest will allow for it. I don't know, but I'd really like to have something and to have like a cohesive big picture kind of thing.
It's not the same, but not dissimilar. I mean, that was the first thing I thought of. Is like as this kind of video story was ticking along, I was like, even if it didn't all get released as singles, you could almost imagine, just for talking sake, 2 years' time, there's a re-release with a DVD and all there's videos for each song. Like that's straight away I was thinking. I was like, oh, here's the story of what's going on.
Yeah, man.
It's certainly from like you said, a creative aspect. It's as a fan, it's starting to trigger these things. And if it's doing it for me as a fan, who knows what it's doing for you guys?
That's awesome, man.
Away from music, I understand you're a keen wrestler and you love your wrestling. No.
I don't know. I'd say keen. I'm passionate about it. It's something I love. It's a hobby of mine. I enjoy Brazilian jiu-jitsu a whole lot. Been training for a long time. I'm good for a 42-year-old hobbyist dad. I've been doing it for a long time, but I'm not a competitor. I'm not have any aspirations of having an MMA fight or anything, but I just love it. I love training. I love, how it engages my mind and my body all at the same time. And I love the people that I train with too. I go to really good gyms, Sarah BJJ out here on Long Island. And Matt Sarah is my guy. He's my coach forever. And I love those guys. And yeah, it's just super fun. One of those things like I needed a hobby. I needed something outside of music. I needed something that would get me off the bar stool because you don't want to go train hungover, So I was like, let's go. Let's see what this is all about. So I started in 2007 and just really, really great group of people, just a great atmosphere. And I miss it so much when I can't get back there as often as I'd like.
So how do you manage that then when you go on tour? Do you try and find local places that you can go to?
No, I don't really get the chance. There's some friends I have along the way and stuff. And last summer we did a full US tour with Third Eye Blind. They actually had a Caesar Gracie black belt. His name is Danny Marks. And he was training Steven, the lead singer from Third Eye Blind in jiu-jitsu. And I said, hey, I'd love to jump in with you guys. And they were so gracious. They allowed me. So me and Steven and Danny, we would train before the shows. and I would train with them for an hour, hour and a half and stuff, and exchange some ideas, have some good rolls. Then I'd shower up and go play the show and feel really, really great after the show. So it was like one of those cool experiences. And so I don't get to do it often on the road, but it definitely takes a backseat. But it makes me take better care of my health too. Like I'll hit the weight room in a hotel, I'll hit the treadmill, I'll do other things to kind of keep my body tuned in, so I'm not totally out of shape when I get back.
I had heard because I'm only a couple of years older than you, and I heard a thing in my early 30s that was the things you do to you in your 30s come back to get you in your 40s. So yeah.
Yeah,
And you're right, like since I've hit my 40s, I'm like, right, I've got to start like getting fit. I've got to cut this out of my life. It's getting
absolutely. It's not
I'm like,
easy.
yeah, you wake up in the morning, you got a bad back, and you're like, how? So all I did was sleep.
Yeah, I sat on the couch all day yesterday. I should be fine.
Yeah. Going back to your nice little detail, but we'll go back to your the band. When I had a look at your tour schedule for the rest of the year, and I don't mean to sound facetious when I say this,
Yeah.
there actually isn't that many shows. Is that well, it's not as many shows as I would have thought there would have been for a band that's about to drop an album. Is that because of family commitments, or is there a bigger thing planned for 2024?
Yeah, we have a bunch of stuff in the works. We are going to tour the hell out of this record. So it's just the way the timing worked out. We did a pretty good extensive summer tour. We've been playing shows in the States all through August and things like that. We have a bunch more things coming up with the album play shows, and then going down to see you guys in the end of November, early December, and then we come back to New York, do that. But yeah, early in the new year, we have a little bit of a lull, but we have some very exciting things coming up after that that are still in the preliminary stages of planning. But we're going to be everywhere.
Okay, good, good, good. Um, well, I think I've only got that's been 15 minutes. So that's pretty much my stuff. Is there anything else you'd like to add that you think we've missed?
No, I'm very pumped to get down to Australia. My sister lives in Melbourne with her family and stuff.
Oh, lovely.
Um, she married an Aussie. Yeah, they lived in New York together for a decade, and then a bunch of life changes and stuff brought them back down there. And so I'm gonna get to visit with them. I'm so pumped. I'm so excited to take my niece and nephew to the shows and stuff. So I have such a strong connection to Australia, and like I get to go there and see family and play some awesome shows. So I'm so excited to get down there.
So were you guys not I'm not trying to be overly personal, but will you then
It's okay.
end up being here for longer than say turn up before the first show and then leave after the last one?
No, no, unfortunately I won't be able to because the work schedule. Like we have to fly like right after Thanksgiving because it's so far, and I have to be home with the family for Thanksgiving, and then we have to get back for our holiday shows in New York and New Jersey. So it's like such a quick turnaround time. But I think with how the schedule lays out and where we're going to be, I'm going to get several days to see them, which is, tremendous. And then we have another trip planned with them where they'll come back to the States. Next year. So I've been getting to see them a lot. Yeah, yeah. So we work it out.
Cool. Is there anybody on that Good Things Festival bill you're looking forward to seeing?
Man, I'm sorry, I do not know who is on the bill, but is Fall Out Boy on it?
Yeah. So Fall Out Boy, the main headliners, then Limp Bizkit, Devo.
Cool,
Yeah, but
sweet. Yeah,
there's a
Devo's
bunch,
great.
yeah, there's a bunch of really cool bands that are on there. The good thing with Good Things, I should have said good twice in the same sentence. One of the great things about
Yeah,
Good Things Festival is it's actually wide ranging. It's not like when you go to say like download and you start to be narrowed in on just a particular
yeah,
genre. It's kind of quite wide range. As we just mentioned, you got Fall Out Boy, you got Limp Bizkit, you've also got Behemoth, like you've also got
cool.
you guys and that. So there's a real nice spectrum. So you can always check somebody out. So hopefully you guys do, and hopefully check out some Australian bands as
Yeah,
well.
yeah. 100%, 100%. We're friends with the guys in Hockey Dad. I don't know if those guys are gonna be home during that time. So if we get time to hang out with them, I know they're not playing, but like
Yeah.
just awesome dudes. But yeah, like the Fall Out Boy, we've been like kind of adjacent with them. I haven't like had that many interactions with them, but I always got on well with those guys. So I'd be pumped to see them and kind of reconnect. So yeah, so I was looking forward to that from the get go. So yeah, it'd be awesome to see Devo too. The guys are legends.
Good, good. All right. Well, look, I have taken up enough of your time. Thank you very much, Shaun. And best of luck when the album drops in a couple of weeks. And we'll see you when you get down to Australia.
Ian, thanks so much, man. Thanks for having me.